Hello class, it's Rafaela. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the controversy over Kylie Jenner being named self-made billionaire by Forbes. This happened twice, once last year, once again this year. And I just want to give you guys a disclaimer. I will not be sharing my own personal opinions with you guys. This is just purely research and just arguing both sides and presenting both sides and opinions from other people on the internet, and just give you guys a general basis of information for what's going on, why this happened, why it's such a big deal, and just hopefully shed some light on the topic. So let's get started. So to start off, Forbes, this media giant, basically announced that Kylie Jenner was on her way to becoming the youngest self-made billionaire in the world. She had a net worth last year of $900 million, which is clearly a lot for a 20-year-old. At the time, she was 20. And this is all due to a lot of things in her life, which I will be talking about in the next few slides. This is just the pretty much the most important thing being her cosmetic line called Kylie Cosmetics. And one of the quotes she actually said in the article in Forbes is, "I didn't expect anything. I did not foresee the future," she said, "but the recognition feels really good. That's a nice pat on the back." So she worked really hard for this, apparently, and a lot of people have a problem with it, and a lot of people agree with her, and a lot of people support her fully. So we'll be talking about that in the next couple of slides. So while one side believes that she is a self-made billionaire because she was already sitting in wealth, and so she used basically what she had to create more, and she did so on her own through her cosmetic line, through her sponsorships on Instagram, through her many endorsements with her sisters and her collaborations with her sisters. And so all with time that all added up. Basically, she created a platform for herself, and just expanded that. While the other side basically argues that she isn't really self made because she was already sitting on a bed of wealth. Now, a lot of people who argue this will say that she isn't self made because she already had millions. Now, she would be self made had she started from absolutely nothing, had she not have had a platform or a famous family or reality show, a cosmetic line, an Instagram, huge Instagram following. If she didn't have any of that, she would have been self made. Um, but I did read an article saying that people wouldn't be so angry with the term self made that Forbes used if they just hadn't used it. If they just had said, "Oh, she's just the youngest billionaire in the world," people wouldn't have been so angry. And a lot of people actually believe that the only reason why Forbes used this twice, once last year, once again this year, is to create this controversy, which is to create a kind of a scandal in social media and have people talking, especially on Twitter. A lot of tweets were going out about this, and a lot of people were very angry, while a lot of people were just going back and forth in support of her and the platform that she built for herself. Now, the term self made is a little bit tricky. I think it all comes down to perception, but I did Google the definitions for the term self made, and the ones that popped up are two that really caught my attention. The first one being made by oneself, and the second one being having become successful or rich by one's own efforts. Now, I do feel like both of these come back to the arguments that people are having. The first definition, made by oneself, I think that would go hand in hand with the people that believe that she is not self made because she didn't make it on her own. She had the help of her family and the help of the things that her family has accomplished over the years. While the other definition, having become successful or rich by one's own efforts, would go hand in hand with the other argument, which is that she used what she had and used her own efforts without anybody's help in order to further her wealth and further her experience and her possessions and her just ability to create more. So the Kardashian Jenner family history is a little bit long and extensive. But basically, the Kardashians started out with the late Robert Kardashian, who was a celebrity lawyer, most famously known for his work in the O.J. Simpson trial. And then when he passed, Kris Jenner, the momager, she ended up marrying Bruce Jenner, who is now known as Caitlyn Jenner. And they just built this whole life together. They had Kylie Jenner and Kendall Jenner after already having Kim, Khloe, and Kourtney Kardashian and Rob Kardashian. And then they just lived in Calabasas and they continued their fame and their stardom. And, they just met other celebrities in the neighborhood. They worked with a lot of people, celebrity kids, hanging out with other celebrity kids. And so their name just got out there until the point where Kim Kardashian was involved in a really big sex tape scandal, which ultimately led to her family having their own reality show on E! So when the Keeping Up with the Kardashians show first aired on E!, Kylie Jenner was only 9 years old. As you can see on the left, that's how little she was. That's how young she was at the time. And so she didn't really have a childhood outside of the spotlight because as soon as the show aired, it pretty much blew up. The family got a lot of attention, a lot of endorsements following that. And Kylie Jenner's life wasn't so private. It was very public. She had cameras shoved pretty much in her face all while growing up, and she was hanging around other kid stars, like Jaden Smith and his sister Willow Smith, and she was best friends with Jordan Woods and, the Baldwins, and she just had a ton of celebrity friends growing up, and I think that put her more in the spotlight as she got older, especially with social media first coming out. Life isn't so private when you have Instagram and when you have millions of followers, and so that's just how her life was. So with the use of social media, Kylie Jenner pretty much blew up. She was very famous for her makeup skills and, her eyeshadows, her eyeliners, the different hairstyles she had. She was very popular for wearing a lot of wigs and having different hair colors all the time. And this was around the time that she was 15 or 16. And a lot of rumors were surfacing around social media and the news that she actually had lip injections or that her lips were fake, because before and after pictures started popping up and she kept denying it, and basically saying that it was all makeup, that she would just overline her lips, and people were constantly asking her for her lip color combination and she would never reveal it. It was always a mystery, and it made people more interested in what she was doing to her face, basically, until it led her to actually create her own makeup brand. Kylie first started out with 3 lip kits that were very popular, especially on social media, which is how she promotes her products. She does not use advertising. She does not endorse other companies in order to advertise her products. It all began with her own social media, creating her own Instagram page for her Kylie lip kits, and then putting them on her personal social media pages. And it just blew up. Her products were always sold out, and a lot of fake stands will sell fake versions of her lip kits until today this happens. And her company is completely 100% her own. And so she does get full control of it and earns 100% of the profits. So with the evolution of Kylie Cosmetics, coming from Kylie Lip Kits, which is how she began, she ended up branching off and she created Kylie Cosmetics, which is a brand that creates multiple different products for the face. She has face powders, highlighters, brushes, blushes, eyeshadow palettes, lip glosses, a bunch of other lip products. And so she just kept creating products and launching them, and again using only her social media to advertise all of this. And she went so far ahead that she ended up getting a lot of money from it. All of the profits were hers because this entire company started off being e-commerce. But eventually, as stated in the article published on Forbes, she could only go so high up. And so she ended up partnering with Ulta, and over 1,000 stores began selling her products from Kylie Cosmetics. And that pretty much pushed her sales over the line and allowed her to have a 9% revenue in all of this. And of course, while all of this was going on, the Keeping Up with the Kardashians show on E was still a thing, and their personal lives does create a lot of interest for them as celebrities. And so her empire was growing not only financially and in the cosmetic world, but also personally. She started building a family with an A-list rapper, Travis Scott, and her daughter Stormy was born just last year, and people's interest in Kylie just blew up. She became this young mom who everyone looked up to, everyone kind of grew up with, and to see her doing all of these things, becoming a billionaire, having a daughter at such a young age, traveling the world, working so hard, this created a lot of interest in her as a person and probably allowed people to relate to her most, especially in this phase of her life, being so young and successful. Um, Although this controversy of her being self-made is still, it still hits home for a lot of people, and a lot of people will not accept the fact that she is self-made, and a lot of people will also not accept that she is not self-made. In conclusion, Kylie Jenner's net worth last year of being $900 million pretty much ranked her number one in her family for having the most riches and being the wealthiest person. I don't think she saw it coming. I don't think anybody in the family really saw it coming, especially because Kim Kardashian pretty much started everything for this family, and she was always the one who blew up. She was always a trendsetter, and so when Kylie Jenner kind of came out and did a whole lot with what she had, it was very surprising. And I think people don't really understand how she was able to do all of this. And a lot of people don't agree with the term self made, not because she did all of this, it's not in envy, but it's really because the term self made for a lot of people means coming from nothing. And so, having already been from a lot of wealth, this term doesn't really make sense to people. However, making something out of everything, especially looking at the other net worths of her family and her sisters and her mother, you definitely do get a sense of how much she actually worked and how she kind of hit the jackpot when she created Kylie Cosmetics. And to end with a quote, "It's the power of social media," she said. "I had such a strong reach before I was able to start anything."